Hello everyone, it's Jeff here, back with you again, making a contest entry video. This time around it is for DJ Highnoons Easy as 1, 2, 3 contest. How long have I been subscribed to Tim's channel? Several months. I know I admit to being bad to commenting on people's videos. I know that's something I got to work on because a lot of times I'll watch videos and enjoy them, but I don't always post comments like I should, and I'm trying. Every day I try a little bit more to try to interact with more people in the VC. And I like Tim's channel a lot. I like his camera presence. He's a fun guy to watch in his videos. And of course, I love the stuff he shows as well. Great taste in music. If you're not subscribed to his channel, DJ Highnoon, please do so. I will try to post a link in the doobly-doo down below. So I like this contest because it's not a round number. It's for 123 subscribers, which is kind of amusing, which leads into the theme of his contest. It's called Easy as 1, 2, 3. You just have to show a record, a song. It could be either a song or an album by your favorite solo artist, which represents the 1. Favorite song or album by a duo, which represents 2, and the same thing by a trio, which represents 3. So yeah, it's a simple contest. Simple is good these days. And I wanted to enter to support Tim and his channel and to get into the contest. So I've got 3 records here ready to go, and I'm just going to jump right in and show them to you. Now, starting off with the favorite solo artist, that's I'm basing my pick on today. Like, this would be like my favorite solo artist today. It's more than just for today, but I mean, like, trying to pick just one would drive you crazy. So going off of that, in that tomorrow it could be somebody else completely different, I'm going with Joe Jackson. And this is one of my favorite albums by him, Night and Day. I actually need to upgrade this copy. I've seen on my Facebook feed that this album is getting reissued, and it's damned tempting, let me tell you. But I've got this on vinyl. I also have it on CD. I've forgotten I'd had it on CD, but I found it as I was throwing out all my old jewel cases and consolidating my CDs last week. So, I don't know. Maybe if I can find another used copy down the road that's a little bit nicer than this one, I'll go for it. But this is probably, well, it's my favorite album of his today. Because Joe Jackson has many, many good albums under his belt. But I know this was probably his biggest hit because it's got Steppin' Out on it, which is a great song. And I just like his style. I like his voice. I like his songwriting. He kind of started out as one thing and then turned into something else. And he's kind of he's not quite a genre tourist the way some other artists are, but he's able to play big band music, swing music, just as well as his earlier, edgier power pop. I'm not really calling it punk or new wave because he's never really struck me as being that. He got lumped into that category early on in his career, but he's branched out enough to really not be considered that anymore in my mind. So yeah, this cover's got somebody's name written on it and other stuff scratched out. So the record's in decent shape, but someday I'd like to upgrade. But this is my answer for the one part of the contest, Mr. Joe Jackson. Representing the two part, or the duo, this band didn't start out as a duo, but it eventually morphed into one. And if you're a fan of Steely Dan, I think you'll agree, by the time that the Asia album came out, it was just Donald Fagen and Walter Becker and a cast of session musicians. I know it was more of a fully formed band in the early going, but by the time this album came out, it was just the two of them. So that's why I'm using Steely Dan here as my favorite duo today. Because there's plenty other duos that I could have gone with. But I think pound for pound, you would be hard-pressed to come up with a more perfect album sonically, musically, instrumentally, vocally than this album here, Asia by Steely Dan. I've used this album to test stereo systems. I have this album on just about every format except cassette. I've got it on my computer. I've got this vinyl copy. I've got it on CD. I don't play cassettes anymore, so if I did, I probably would have this on cassette too. So this is one of those albums where I've got it on all the formats. And basically any time I hear any song of this on the radio, I'll just listen to it, even if it's halfway through. I could pull this any day of the week and play it and be perfectly happy. So it's really not much of the back cover, but I think most of you already know the titles to this album. Every song is just like a perfect jewel. So I don't think I have to do much more convincing than basically just to show the album cover and say Steely Dan, and everyone kind of nods their head and goes, yep, you're right. So Steely Dan, the later years, is my answer for favorite duo. Now, moving on to the trio part of the contest. This is another band that started out as more of a full-fledged band, but by the time of this album, they were down to just 3 full-time members and rotating cast of session musicians, and I'm talking about XTC. And this album here is Skylarking. Now, if you've watched any of my videos recently, you know that I've filled a lot of holes in my XTC collection. I think I've got all of the albums from their first one up through Oranges and Lemons. I've listened to this album many times, though, previously. And this is the album that I honestly have the most experience with as far as XTC goes. So this is my pick. And by the time this album came out, let me pull the inner sleeve, and I can show you that it was just Andy Partridge, Colin Moulding, and Dave Gregory as the full-time members. And I believe after the Oranges and Lemons album, either that one or None Such, Dave Gregory left the band, and it was just down to Colin and Andy as the main members of XTC. So for this album, for this era in the band, they were a trio. So I'm going with this album as my answer for that. I hope all this counts. I hope this isn't too much of a technicality. But you know, the membership in XTC was kind of fluid for a little while there. But at this point in time, it was the 3 of them. And Skylarking, I haven't listened to all the other XTC albums that I've bought yet. That's going to be another massive listening project to come. But from what I have listened to, this album is easily one of their best out of the 3 or 4 other ones that I've listened to. And they're all good, don't get me wrong. But if we're talking about membership and trios, I think you would be hard-pressed to come up with a better album again, musically, sonically, melodically, than Skylarking by XTC. So this is my answer for this part of the question. What's your favorite album by a trio? XTC, Skylarking. And there you have it. Those are my entries for the contest. I hope they are acceptable. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed to Tim's channel, it's DJ Highnoon. Go check him out and press that subscribe button, will you? I'm going to try to be doing a couple of contest entries here. This is just the first of a few, so I should be back sooner than normal with another entry. So until then, Tim, I love your channel. I love your stuff, and I love you too. I'm just going to share the love. I love you, man. I can say it. It's okay. All right, guys. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Peace.